Hey, hun, did you hear about the gardener who won an award for his liquid fertilizer?
No way, how cool.
Yeah, they said it was terrific.
Hi, and welcome to Suburban Life Permaculture. I'm Holly, and we're so happy that you're here with us today. Today, what we're going to do is make not one, but two different compost tea recipes. Now, the fact that we can do two different should kind of indicate to you that you don't necessarily have to abide by any hard and fast rules. The big thing is compost tea, so you're going to want to have some real good quality compost. And the rest should just help what the goal is for that compost tea. Why make compost tea? Well, you're taking all those beautiful bacteria, fungi, and other little critters that are in your compost, and you're concentrating it. You're feeding it to increase the numbers. So then you have it in a liquid form that's easier for your plants to absorb, and also goes into your soil and improves that as well.
So today we're making our compost tea. I have a very simple procedure compared to my wife's complicated, like she's a chemist, but we're just going to take some of our compost, find some nice compost that we have down here. I'm going to take a pillowcase because everybody's got a pillowcase. Wife's measuring cup.
We'll clean that later.
She don't know that. And my recipe is going to be 4 cups of your compost. Put it right in the pillowcase. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that is it for my main ingredient. We have our 5-gallon buckets filled with our water from our rain catchment.
And we have the same stir stick.
We each have, yeah, because it's a competition. Nobody's cheating. We're going to see who's come out better. All right, so now I'm going to add, I have my raw sugar. I'm going to add just 1 tablespoon to a 5-gallon bucket. One heaping tablespoon.
So
I'm just going to sprinkle it in there.
Why are you using the sugar?
I'm using sugar because the bacteria like to feed on sugar. It helps energize them and it'll feed them. And I'm not a biologist, whatever, so.
So they make more bacteria.
Yes, I want the bacteria to multiply.
They have a nice little party in your bucket.
Yep. I'm going to stir this up a little bit, let it dissolve. So, and if we had any bacteria in here from the rainwater, that's good too. We are letting this dissolve a little bit. That should be good. It doesn't have to be perfect. And now, my compost tea bag. Gonna drop it in. I want to make sure we get it nice and wet so it'll sink down. I'm gonna wrap it around the handle. That way it's floating halfway through the water, not resting on the bottom. Done. That's it for mine.
So I'm also going to take from the compost pile, I'm going to kind of look for as complete a compost. I don't want too many big anythings in here. And for my recipe, probably would prefer to maybe sift it, but I'm just going to do 1.5 cups, but I'm going to heap it. So, I mean, like I said, it's not terribly important as far as, I mean, you can see the difference between how much he's putting in there and how much I am. So I'm not going to worry about it, that I'm going to put in 2 cups. Now for the rest of it. I'm using powdered vitamin C. You could use any vitamin C. If you have old vitamin C chewables or tablets or whatever, you can use that. And the reason I'm using this is it's an antioxidant and it can help alleviate stress for your plants. So there's the next step. And I'm putting all my solids or dry stuff in with my compost, and then I'll just kind of mix it up a little bit, and I'll show you that in a second, and then everything liquid in here. So now I have this organic kelp powder, and you could use liquid too. You would just do half of what I'm doing for powder. So I'm going to do 3 tablespoons of this kelp powder. Now, why am I doing this? I am doing this specifically for the fungi, so it helps our fungi. Now I'm putting in 2 tablespoons of Azomite. I already put one in there, that's the second one. So when I went ahead and did research for my compost tea, I was thinking of, other than the compost, how can I feed my plants and my soil? So the basis is going to be the bacterial and fungi, right? So fungi, kelp. Absorption, plants, that was the vitamin C. Azomite, that is going to help the soil. It can help with building it. It has some micronutrients in it. So I've talked about all the elements except for the bacteria. So remember, my husband, he put in the sugar. I'm putting in unsulphured molasses, and since it's liquid, I'm going to put that in my water. So what I need of this is about 3/4 of a tablespoon. So I'm going to start out stirring it with this, and then I'll use my stirrer stick. So that's going to feed those bacteria so they can have a real nice party in here. All right, now I know some of it has gone to the bottom, so we'll stir that up right now. All right, that looks good. And so this is all my dry stuff. Just let me shake it a little bit. I want to make sure it's all in the bottom. Okay, and so now I can smell the vitamin C. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and just kind of hand mix it just like this. And I'm going to do the same thing. Get it wet so it can sink. But I also don't want it all the way to the bottom. So I'm going to use a clip, a binder clip. Double check where I want it. Yeah, looking good. Just give it added support to stay right in place. And then that is it for me. See, it's not hugely complicated, but there was a method to each component and a reason for each component that I put in there. Now what we're going to do is just let it sit for 24 hours, although you can go up to, what, 36, maybe a little bit more?
Yeah, no more than like 48 hours. You don't want to overpower too much bacteria in there, and then they're fighting for food.
And we only put limited amount of food in there for the bacteria. So we're going to wait until tomorrow, and in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and do that stirring we talked about. Periodically through the day. It's going to sit overnight, but it'll get some attention in the morning as well. All right, we have diluted each of our recipes I would say equally. We both basically said, okay, that looks like half for our recipe, and said there. Now we have 2 Everglades tomatoes, and mine is going to be this one, Joe's will be this one. So let the competition begin.
All right.
We have the same size cup. We decided.
Same plant.
We decided what? 3 cups. So that's what we're going to do. One, 2, 3. First plant done. Now we've got a few pigeon peas and a couple of Barbados cherries that all went in at the same time. So we decided that that would be a great place to go ahead and continue our competition. What we decided on and agreed to, that Barbados cherry is going to get 5 cups and the pigeon pea is going to get 2.
We're going to do 5 on the Barbados cherry. And I forgot what the pigeon pea was.
2.
2 on the pigeon pea.
We have to note that your pigeon pea is taller than my pigeon pea. But not by a lot. I'll accept that challenge. We did not do this as scientifically as we could have. We didn't measure it prior, so we have nothing to compare to. So what we're going to do...
This is a week later, so you'll be able to see what the plant looked like a week prior to now.
Exactly.
A visual comparison.
So we're just going by visuals. We're not, there's no scientific measurement. So what we have here is, I do remember this plant, and because I had harvested from both of them, they didn't have any that were ready to harvest. So that's what we're going to look at now.
Well, they're both Everglades tomato plants, and I don't see a lot of yellow leaves. I do have a few.
And yeah, so we don't know, I can't really tell. There might be a little bit of new growth. This looks like it might be new growth right here, but I'm just going to go through, and I have a few that I can harvest. There's a whole bunch that will be ready soon as well, and then a whole bunch more greens than we had before. But it could be the time of year as well. So what I have for harvest, I have 6 of them that I harvested, and I have, looks like at least 2 more that will be ready soon. How about you, hon? What you got?
3. Well, that's not really ready, but
Are you pulling off the almost readies too?
yes.
Okay.
Yours are nice and red.
So this is what we've got. And you took off 6 as well. So here's...
Well, I ate one.
Oh. Was it ready to go?
Yeah, it tastes good.
So here are the difference of the 2. So let's talk about Barbados cherry. So this one is my recipe, and you can see tons of flowers, no berries yet, but Joe's is looking pretty darn green. And there are a few flowers getting ready to roll. Not a lot, but that's okay. I think that there's a lot of flowers here. They're just not ready to open, or they are done opening. I think that they haven't started opening, if I remember what we were looking at before. So right now I'd say Barbados cherry, my recipe is a little bit ahead of his. So we'll see about next week. This is week 2. So this is my compost tea recipe, Everglades tomato. And you can see it's pretty tall. This one would be taller, except it's kind of collapsed on its weight, so it's a little wider now. That's why we have this little fence here to kind of keep it from traveling into our path. And right now they have about the same amount of tomatoes in varying states of ripe. But here's the part you don't know, is that I harvested them yesterday, and Joe's compost tea recipe plant had a lot more, almost double than what mine did. So right now, that is pretty darn awesome. Now week 3 for the compost tea duel. So this is Joe's Barbados cherry. We are at the Everglades tomatoes. So
Our dueling compost competition.
so let's see how they're doing. Again, anecdotal evidence, although we have similar glasses here. And of course we hope that both our cups runneth over, but we're going to go ahead and see. 3 hours later. All right. So here's mine. Here's his. Okay, not the booty thrashing I thought it might be. But yeah, you can clearly see he harvested more. This is the week 4 and final update for our compost duel. So I can see that little bit there of new growth. So that just says it's wonderful. This is Joe's pigeon pea. And if we look at Joe's Barbados cherry, his cherry flowers, his cherry blossoms are closing up. Here. But I think that they are looking really nice. Let me see if I can find the one that I saw before that, I don't know. It looks like they have this little green bottom to some of them.
Right here is green bottom.
Yeah. I'm wondering if that means we're going to get cherries there. We'll have to keep an eye on that. So now let's look at, hello other pigeon pea. Here is my pigeon pea, and it does have a bunch of new growth here, so yay. And then let's look here. The blossoms this one had were a couple of weeks ago, and unfortunately, I don't know what the deal is, but I really don't see any that look like they're making flower, or not flowers, fruit. What we thought might turn into fruit has not yet. So I'm thinking, oh, hey, I see one right in here. Okay, so I think I got a couple maybe. This is the final update for the compost tea dueling recipes. So you can see they're about the same height, although I would say that his one is probably taller, and it's also a little wider. I've noticed it kind of collapsed outward, and I think that's really helping for more production. But they're really, really close. So you can see lots of fruits here, yay. So it's been about a month, and we've completed our dueling compost recipe test. So I wanted to give my final thoughts there. In the end, it looked like they were pretty well both functional, although I would say that Joe's was the clear winner, especially for Everglades tomatoes. It's more of a tie for the pigeon pea and the Barbados cherry. The biggest difference that I could think of, other than The fact that mine had other little tidbits in it was that Joe's had, I would say, about twice as much compost in there. So my thought is he had more of the bacteria, fungi, all those little happy little critters that can help the plants. So clearly for Everglades tomatoes, they prefer more of those compared to the Barbados cherry and the pigeon peas, at least in this short run. So what kind of fertilizer do you use in your food forest garden? Let us know in the comments below. And I don't care if you like, subscribe, or share. You do you. Carpe diem, y'all.